Welcome to this week's edition of Inch by Inch. And today I am happy to be sitting here with Anna Frederick. Anna is one of our superstars here at Inch&Co Real Estate, and we're just happy to have you. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Sam.
So before we dive too much into your real estate journey, let's talk a little bit about your past. So tell us, where were you raised?
I was raised in New Jersey, in the country. A little tiny town, pretty much close to the Delaware River. No one's ever probably heard of it. Finesville, New Jersey.
We have not.
No. It was big property, country. Was very nice. I had a great childhood living out in the country.
Great.
It was fun.
So when you left there, did you move directly to York?
I did not. I lived in Clinton, New Jersey for a while, and then I ended up out here when I was married.
So I think you told me you've been in York for probably most of your adult life, correct?
For about 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Long time. So you can say you're from York County, right?
No.
Okay, you won't say
no,
that.
I don't think people of York will say I'm from York County yet.
All right. We want to.
But I'm getting there. I'm learning a lot about York.
So you've been here 26 years. You have two children. I think a son and a daughter who's older than your son, correct?
Yes, my son is 21. He's a paid firefighter in New York City. And my daughter is 26, expecting my first grandchild, and she is a vet tech for Shiloh East and West.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I also have a bonus child who's my boyfriend's son, who's 15. So kind of backtrack to the high school years.
Great.
Yeah.
So you were a stay-at-home mom for many years.
Yes.
And you decided to get into real estate, correct?
That is correct.
Your dad was a commercial real estate broker in New Jersey, so you're sort of born into the business.
Yeah, I grew up around it. When we would answer the phone when we were kids, we had to answer it good afternoon and mention the company's name, and he'd have us trained right from a young age.
Was he a sole proprietor?
Yes.
He was?
No, he's his own business.
Okay, awesome. So I didn't want to interrupt you last night, but I was preparing for this today. So I went on to the Real Estate Commission website, and I found that you've been licensed. I knew about when it was, but it said you've been licensed since 2017.
Yeah,
so
it's been a little while.
I'd say you're quite a veteran. So, talking real estate, what advice would you give to a first-time home buyer?
I think the very first thing that a first-time home buyer should do is definitely speak to a lender and work with a very good real estate agent. You don't want to go in without knowing anything, and they have a lot of questions. And I think that's their best bet. Okay.
And I think our advice together would be that no matter if you're a first-time home buyer or a buyer in general, get together early, because you may think you're not buying for 6 months or a year or two, but the lender can give you a roadmap to get to that spot in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
So maybe credit issues that need to be addressed, or saving of money, or certain other issues that we can do. So that's good stuff. We talked a little bit about your values. Tell us, sort of how you look at your business and what makes you tick.
I think for me, I just approach every client with the same amount of enthusiasm. And for me, it's just so nice when I can take their dreams or their goals and turn them into a reality. It's really a high, honestly.
It is.
Makes me feel so good, and it's the best part of my job.
It's funny you say a high, because part of my note says it's the high that, it's almost like a drug.
Yes.
I get the same feeling. A few weeks ago, one of our new people put their first deal under contract, and I called him that night and I said, "How's it feel?" And I can't tell you on camera what he said. We'd have to edit it, but he basically said, "It feels amazing." And I said, "I've been doing this 35 years. You've been doing this coming up on 10 years.
Yeah.
It truly is a high. When you can put a buyer or a seller make their dreams come true, it's like a drug.
It is. It's amazing.
It's what keeps us going. Right?
Exactly.
It's like the game of golf. I'm bad at golf, but that occasional good shot keeps you coming back, right? So we talked about your dad being in the business, who, obviously he had an impact on your real estate career. You probably still call him at times.
He did. I think for me, though, I would have probably gotten into this business a lot earlier if I hadn't had this feeling that he was like Superman, and I could never become as good as him. Wow. And I wish at a younger age someone would have said, well, go work for a small real estate office that does just residential, and then come back and work for me, because it put me off for a long time.
Right.
And I probably would have gotten a lot further than I have now because I got into it so late. But yes, he's a big influence. I consider you a big influence, and a lot of the other agents in this office, Katie Horn, Mark Roberts, Jennifer Kibler, and Tammy Baylor. We just have a huge number of very, agents that have been in the business forever that are always available to answer questions. Nobody ever says, no, I don't have time for you.
Right.
They'll always listen to what's going on and help you.
Yeah.
And that's important.
It is important. It's a great culture that we have here.
Yeah.
So you were one of the original, when we opened over 4 years ago, you were one of the originals that came over from our former company.
Yes.
What made you want to come to Inch&Co?
The minute I came and walked in the door and heard Johnny and Jeff's story about how this was a family business, it felt like I came home, because I grew up in that. So this just fit perfectly. Good. And I was excited to come over.
Well, we're glad you joined us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So what do you see as the biggest challenge in the real estate industry at this point?
My biggest, let's see.
I think you mentioned that you think it's going away from a people business, or the concept that people are thinking that it is.
Yes, I think we were talking about this in our meeting the other day, and it was being brought up how things are being taken away, and it's going more towards younger generation are looking at just doing things online. Well, I don't think you realize until you're trying to make a purchase, this is the biggest purchase you're ever going to make, that it's a people business. You're a counselor half the time you're doing your job. And without having somebody to ask those questions, I don't think they realize what they're getting into until maybe they're already halfway through the process. They may turn around and want to change that mindset and work with a person one-on-one. Right. I don't see how real estate could end up being not a personal business. Right. I don't get that.
One of the first things I ask someone who wants to get into real estate is, why do you want to get in? And if they say, I love houses, I'm like, that's the wrong answer. We're in a people business, and people need to have confidence and with somebody who can help them on that journey of buying or selling their house. And that, I don't see that ever changing. I
don't either. I think you spend a lot of time on the phone with people, just working through any fears they may have or any concerns. They really do need to know that somebody's there to listen to them, and that helps them get to the next level. You need to be able to talk to people one-on-one, and the clients feel so much more comfortable when they can do that, because there's just so many questions they have. Right. I'm in the middle of a deal right now, and I think I've been on the phone for hours just trying to work through everything that they're having problems with. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and we wear so many hats.
Yes.
We're a counselor. We're an advisor. We're problem solvers. There's just so many things that go into it. So you're right about that.
Yeah.
All right. What are your, getting off real estate, what are your hobbies and interests?
I love to read.
What type of books?
All different kinds of books. Whatever's out there. I'm always asking for suggestions. I'll read anything good.
Do you know the Dewey Decimal System?
No. I do know how to use the computer a little bit. Right. So let's see. I like golf. Actually, you were just talking golf. I've been learning how to play golf pretty well.
Are you any good?
Not bad. Okay. I'm not terrible. Right. Not great. Right. I love plants. That's one of my fun things to do. I love to do gardening, flowers, flower pots, arrangements. I know everybody's probably seen my Halloween decorations that I do every year. I do like to do that. That's a lot of fun for me. It keeps kind of my theater background in the picture. And I like to be outside. I like to hike and stuff with our dogs and stuff.
All right. I didn't prepare you for this, so I'm going to ask you some questions for some fun.
All right.
What's your favorite meal? Quick.
Oh, Italian, definitely. Pizza.
Really?
Yes, pizza.
All right. Not a steak.
No,
lobster.
Pizza. Right.
Favorite movie?
Oh, God. I have too many favorite movies.
All right. Any come to mind?
I'd have a list a mile long. I love movies.
All right. You're stuck on a desert island.
Oh, geez.
And you can only have the only thing you can eat is 3 candies. 3 candies. You get nothing else but 3 candies. What are they?
Those little caramel swirl things that we have in the office right now that I'd like to take to the bag and sit in the closet. Probably oh my gosh, this is hard. A dark chocolate Milky Way and a Three Musketeer bar.
All right. No protein in any of those. You didn't go with Snickers that has peanuts in it.
You didn't tell me how to do that. That's probably wise, but no, I didn't.
All right. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
But I just want to say this to you. So I met you back at our former company in 2017, and my first recollection of you was that you smiled a lot, you laughed a lot, and people just gravitated to you. And I knew really, really quickly that you're going to really do well. I just knew that, and you've proven me right. So we're so happy that you're here. We're a better company because you're here. And just thanks for being here. And thanks for being you.
Thank
and you also
you.
take care of my grandpuppy.
Yes, I do.
Zoe.
I do a little pet sitting on the side, and I love dogs, so keep that in mind.
All right. Sounds good. Well,
Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.